Chris has your mic unless he gave it to you already. Okay.
I give you all my paperwork.
So people like the hot dogs? Good.
Chris, I walked away with the thing on to make sure it's still connected. All right, thanks. Give it a couple minutes after 6:30, you think?
Yeah, do like 6:35 or so.
Yeah.
I would, at 6:30 though, I would just say, hey,
Yeah.
we still have some folks that are registered to be here. Yeah. Do we know if anyone's up there? Have we seen if there's anyone driving up there? I'll go just poke my head up there. Into the front? Okay. I'll come back here right when you're starting.
out my happy place script. We're going to get started in about 5 minutes. We got at least one person who's still on the list. So. Just waiting to see. The last couple nights we've done this, I've learned I do not have a career in broadcast TV. You what? I do not have a career in broadcast television.
Well, there was supposed to be some. Lock that back up. Because that's a big no. Oh, yeah. It doesn't latch. Oh, yeah. And then I'll flip from the eye so the gate closes when we're done. Yep. I'm just going to latch it right now. I'm not. Give it a pull. Yep. Okay. Yeah.
Chris, when you say hot, you mean like it's here?
Thank you, sir. No, he's gone. My key other will take care of it. Greg might have his fob, but the.
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Yep, we'll see ya.
Hey, thank
I'll
you for
try.
joining us today. My name is Greg Zidane. I'm the Senior Camping Director with the Michigan Crossroads Council. Long story, that basically means I get to do the fun side of all this with the program and being in the camps and all that kind of stuff. For those of you joining us online, I'd welcome you to part 3. Yeah, this is night 3 of our 4-part series for our in-person and live-streamed pre-camp leaders meetings. Tonight we will be featuring Gerber Scout Reservation. So the way this works, if you haven't seen one of these before, is the first half of tonight's presentation is going to be general knowledge information that applies equally to all 5 of our camps. So whether you're going to Cole Rotary, Gerber, DBRA, or even Camp Hiawatha, that information is golden. The second half of the night, we're going to have some breakout sessions with most of our camp directors being in the room. I'll be representing Camp Hiawatha. And we'll talk more about how that's going to work later. But without any further ado, thanks again for joining us. Welcome. Just a quick little overview on our agenda for the evening. We'll talk a little bit about our customer service policy and our communication strategy and some of what got us to this point tonight. Then we'll get to go through all sorts of fun administrative paperworky stuff, which I like to call Andrew Hour, where Andrew will come up here and talk for, well, about an hour. No, it's like 10 minutes. But then we'll come back up, we'll talk about some other cool ways to get involved at camp, and then we'll go to our breakout sessions. So first off, if you've been to one of these before, you've been to one of our online presentations, or you've been into one of our camps, you've probably seen this mission statement before. As the camp leadership and staff of the MCC, our dedication is to providing our customers and guests with a legendary camp service while participating in life-enhancing, year-round programs. We are committed to providing the facility, program, services, and camp leadership that will consistently exceed the expectations of our customers and our guests. Our scout camps will be safe havens for experiencing the best of the adventures and values of Scouting America. This is a simple but straightforward mission statement, and it is what we train all of our camp staff on and all of our camp leadership teams to embed the spirit of that mission statement. To us as a leadership team, we look at that as there's 5 core principles that we focus very heavily on when evaluating our camping programs, planning, and bettering our camping programs. In no particular order, first on the list is our staff. We go to whatever lengths we can to find the best seasonal staff that we can. We train them the best that we can, and we try to hold them to the highest standard that we can. Second point, strong and purposeful programs and activities that are supported by strong and well-maintained facilities. We've all been to scout camp. If you've been around the last couple years, you've probably noticed some major improvements in some of our campsite restrooms and some of the other facilities around camp. We're really, really trying to hammer into some of that right now. And then the last point on, second to last, food. We all know food. You can have a great week at camp, a great program. If the food's really kind of crummy, the kids are going to go home feeling really kind of crummy. So we want to put a lot of emphasis on food. Andrew's going to talk a little bit about how we played some of that in with our dietary needs and things like that later on in the presentation. Last point on that list is communication. And we have identified that this is one of our biggest places where we have some room for improvement. Before last year, we really just completely tore down and rebuilt our pre-camp communication strategy and our schedule, and that's how we got into programs like this one this evening. And we saw a nice kick up in how troops and leaders felt we were communicating. So we still have a long way to go. This is a part of that, but what I'd like to ask of you guys tonight is don't leave with any unanswered questions. Whether you're here in person or you're online, we have the folks in the room tonight with all the answers, well, at least most of the answers. If there's something that's been bugging you or if there's something that comes up, go ahead and ask the question while you can. If you're on your way home or you get home or next week you think of something you forgot, we're all always available by phone or email. Reach out and don't hesitate. Most everybody should have their business cards on this table outside here where you checked in. If not, go online. We're not that hard to find. So thanks again for being here. I'm going to bring up my counterpart, our operations director, Andrew Wright.
Thanks, Greg. Like Greg said, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Andrew Wright. I'm the Camping Operations Director, which means I handle all of the behind-the-scenes and administrative stuff that is required for our camps to operate. Tonight I'm going to talk to you about some of those requirements and strategies that we have to either ensure we are meeting or that we have put together to assist you with your summer camp experience for 2025. The first of those is the DHHS Central Registry Clearance Background Check. This is a requirement of the state of Michigan. This is not a requirement of the Michigan Crossroads Council. In the past, those of you that have come to camp may have heard the acronym LARA, or the term Licensing and Regulatory Affairs. The camping world in the state of Michigan has now moved under a new department, the Department of Lifelong Education, Advancement, and Potential, or MILEAP. And so in some instances, you will still see a reference to LARA. That's because the state is still updating a lot of their paperwork. But you may also see the reference to MILEAP. So just know that those two terms, for the purposes of this year, are used interchangeably. MILEAP requires that all persons over the age of 21 who are going to be attending camp in any capacity must have a cleared background check letter from the state of Michigan. Tonight I'm going to reference a lot of forms and a lot of paperwork. Those forms, for those of you that are here with us in person, are in your packets. For those of you that are joining us virtually, or those of you in the room that like to do things virtually, all you need to do is log into your summer camp registration, and in that summer camp registration, under the attachments heading, you will find all of this paperwork in a downloadable and typically a form fill format. So if you don't like to handwrite stuff, or if you don't want to hand out a bunch of copies, just know I'm going to reference those today. There's hard copies in your packet, and they're available on your registration. What you will need to do is fill out the form for Central Registry clearance. This is for your unit leaders, regardless of if they're going to be there for one day or the whole week. This is also for your visitors. So if mom or dad or grandma or grandpa or aunt and uncle or older sister, etc., are going to be coming to camp at any time to visit, and they are over the age of 21, they will need to have a clearance letter from the state of Michigan. We are legally not allowed to permit them into camp without that letter. So fill out the form. There is an email address on that form to send it into, and you will see it is LARA on the form. I have confirmed with the state that email address is still active. Email is the fastest way for you to get your form processed. You send it in, and they will email you your clearance letter back. Right now, their turnaround time is about 3 days. The longer you wait, the longer your turnaround time will be, because this is a requirement for every youth camp in the state, YMCA, church camps, etc. So it's not just the 1,000 or so adults that we see in camp in Michigan that do this. It is every adult for every camp in Michigan. So please don't delay in getting that form in. The second thing to note, please have them email the form back to you. Don't send it to camp. It will not be there when you get there. Don't email it to camp. It will not be there when you get there. We are required by the state to obtain a physical copy. So have them email it back to you and bring a physical copy with you to camp. If you're going to more than one of our camps, you will need a physical copy at each location. So please make sure that all of that is taken care of prior to coming to camp, or we will not be able to admit you into camp per the law of the state of Michigan. Those letters are required annually. So if you did this last year, thank you, we appreciate it, but we cannot accept that letter this year. It must be dated 2025 for us to accept it into our camp system. So please, if you have not gotten cleared since January of this year till now, you'll need to fill that out again. Please make sure that you do so. If you are joining us from out of state, you will need to complete your state's equivalent form. That is what we will ask for if we see that you're an out-of-state unit. If you're not sure what that form is, simply reach out to your camp director. They have the links and resources and can help you navigate the state of Michigan site to get you to the correct location for your state. But that is what the requirement is that we collect your state's background check in lieu of the Michigan state background check. Next, I'd like to talk about special dietary needs. We have spent an exuberant amount of time working with our food service providers to ensure that we can provide anyone that has a special dietary need at camp with an adequate meal that models the meals that we're eating. What do I mean by that? Who's ever been to a camp before who has a special dietary need? Maybe you're a vegetarian and you go to lunch and you get a black bean burger patty. And then you go to dinner and you get a black bean burger patty. And then you go to breakfast and you get a black bean burger sausage patty, right? 3 years ago, that was also us, okay? And so we have worked to make sure that we can source gluten-free, vegetarian, vegan, halal, kosher, all of that kind of stuff to be able to provide you. If we're having chicken sandwiches for lunch, we will have a seitan alternative for lunch so that you can enjoy the same meal that everyone else is eating. You are required to fill out on your reservation the dietary restrictions box. So tomorrow is the final payment deadline. Everyone remember that. Tomorrow is final payment deadline. If you've tried making a payment and it says, hey, you're missing information, probably because you did not fill out this box, it forces you to fill out this box, and we do that on purpose. We want to make sure that we know and understand the needs of our campers when they come to camp. If you do not have a special diet, simply put the word none, no, not applicable, NA. The system is designed to filter out what they call the non-responses. In addition to filling this box out, which we print out and provide to our food service directors at our camps, we are going to ask you to contact us 2 weeks prior to your arrival to camp. That will allow you some time to speak with our food service director, get any specific questions that you have answered, and then ensure that we can provide you with the meals that you're going to need. In the Michigan Crossroads Council, we do have a policy. Because of the amount of time that this takes, we want to make sure that we are spending that time focusing on the individuals that have a special dietary need for a specific reason. We define that as a food allergy, a diet based on a medical condition, or a diet based on a religious principle. What are we trying to weed out there? It's real simple. It's the 11-year-old Tommy, or my son who's 5 years old, that only eats chicken nuggets and macaroni and cheese, okay? Our staffs are very capable of preparing things, but to have to prepare special meals for picky eaters is not something that we can do and then still be able to cater to everyone else that's in our camps. So please make sure that it falls into one of these areas. In certain instances, if someone has a very, very specific or a very, very limited dietary restriction while they're at camp, you may be asked to bring some additional food to help supplement what you need. All of our camps have designated freezer, refrigerator, and dry storage space that is specifically for those special dietary foods. And then there are prep areas for special dietary meals to ensure that we're not cross-contaminating, etc. So please make sure you make that 2-week call ahead of time so that you're prepared and we're prepared to be able to provide the best possible food service that we can for you and for your scouts. Next, I'd like to talk about pre-camp swim checks. The Michigan Crossroads Council does have a process for completing your swim checks prior to coming to camp. There is not a council-sponsored swim check day, but there is a process in place. We've been in about 3 years now of doing this for you to have your swim checks completed before you get to camp, thus cutting down on the longest part of the check-in process at any of the camps that you may attend in the Michigan Crossroads Council. How do you do that? Well, first you're going to need to go to michiganscouting.org/aquatics-committee. I'll say that again, and if those of you that are joining us, it's on the screen. It's michiganscouting.org/aquatics-committee. On that page, you will find 2 applications. The first application is the application to apply to host and conduct a pre-camp swim check. What we ask is, what's your unit? Where is the swim check going to be completed? And who is going to be administering that swim check? When you hit submit, that email automatically goes to our aquatics chair, Matt Grimble. He is really fast on turning those around, typically within 2 to 3 days, who will let you know if your application has been approved or denied. Okay? What are we looking for? We're making sure that we're not swimming in the muck pond that Uncle Joe dug with a backhoe in the 60s, right? And we're looking to ensure that the person administering the swim test is 1, qualified to do so, and 2, understands exactly what we are looking for to make sure that the scout is passing the full 100 yards with a strong stroke, et cetera, et cetera. That's where the second application form comes into play. If you have done this process in the past, and it has been approved, and you're using the same person, they do not need to reapply. We have a list of those individuals, and Matt will review, ensure that they have already been cleared, and then we'll approve you to do the swim test. If you are using a new individual who has not applied, they will need to fill out the second application to be a swim check administrator for the Michigan Crossroads Council. We need to do that from an aquatic safety standpoint. We need to do that from a risk management standpoint. All we're going to do is ask for their name, what are their credentials, have they ever given a BSA swim test before. Matt may call them to get some additional information. Once he approves them and approves your application, you will then be provided with a coded swim check form that is coded to your unit specifically, okay? So don't use an old sheet because it's not going to match up with what's in the system, okay? You're going to have a coded form specific to your unit. You will take that form to your swim check night. The swim check administrator will administer the test, and then we'll sign off on that form, and you will need to bring that form with you to camp. Don't forget it, or you'll have to take a swim test at camp, okay? So don't forget the form with the signatures on it, and then once we receive that form at camp, we will administer you your buddy tags, filled out, ready to go, without having to go into the lake. The asterisk to this whole entire process is that we do, as the Michigan Crossroads Council, reserve the right to retest, specifically for safety reasons. Scouts who may not be the strongest of swimmers can sometimes very easily pass a swim test in a pool because they can see the bottom. But then they jump into a lake, because that's all we have is lakes. We have no pools in the Michigan Crossroads Council, and they can't see the bottom of the lake, or something icky touches their foot, okay? And because their swimming ability is not as strong as it could be, that could cause an issue with them being in the water or utilizing other aquatic activities such as icebergs, blobs, water trampolines, canoes, etc., where they don't have the correct swimming ability to be able to do those things safely. So in those instances that we view that, we will say, I'd like you to please retake your swim test so that we can confirm that you are safe to be in the lake. I think everyone in the room can agree that the health and safety of our campers, both youth and adult, should probably be number one. So that's the asterisk as it pertains to pre-camp swim checks. Next, I'd like to talk about the ever almighty camp paperwork. Please know that, yes, we know it's ironic that there's lots of paperwork used to go outdoors. That is everywhere in the entire outdoor education and camping system. It is not just here in the Michigan Crossroads Council. Don't leave home without your paperwork. It'll cause delays in your check-in process, et cetera, et cetera. There is a form. It is not in your packet. It is on your online registration called the Paperwork to Bring to Camp Checklist. It is this list with nifty check boxes so that you as the unit leader can check them off once you know that they're packed under lock and key, under your seat, in the car that's dragging your trailer to camp so you know you have them. Okay? I'm going to go through these quickly, but I want to make sure that we understand what they all are. I'm going to start with our youth forms. All youth need to have a BSA health form, parts A, B, and C. That is the only health form we are allowed to accept. And, if applicable, an immunization exemption form. So if a family does not immunize for personal, religious, etc. reasons, there is an immunization exemption form that they have to fill out and attach to their health form. That has to come to camp. The second thing that we're going to ask for is the camper release form, which only pertains to units that are going to Camp Rotary. It's very simple as to why. All of our other camps have the health lodge either in the same building as the office or directly adjacent to the office. At Camp Rotary, which was built 100 years ago, okay, the office is up front and the health lodge is in the back. We have to verify a camper release before we release anyone from camp. So we collect a camper release form, which is just a redo of the front page of the health form, basically, so that camper releases are kept in the office and health forms are kept back in the med lodge. That is why Rotary has a separate camper release form. While we're on the camper release topic, okay, when you're filling out the camper release, whether it's the form for Rotary or the camper release section on the health form, please make sure that anyone that may pick up that scout is listed. If they are not listed, then the only persons that we can release to are the scoutmaster who brought them to camp or the person who physically signed the form. So if dad shows up, but mom signed the form and dad is not listed on the form, the state of Michigan says I cannot release that child to that person. Okay? Please make sure they're listed, especially if you know that they're going to be picked up from camp early. Please also let your families know that if a camper is being picked up from camp early and that person is listed on the camper release form, that they need to bring their photo ID, driver's license, into the office to sign that scout out. The state of Michigan requires us to collect a copy of that photo ID so that we can verify that we have released the scout to the correct person. Okay? Lastly, youth will need to complete the prerequisite verification slips. There is a camp-specific version in each of your packets or under that attachments heading on your registration. We want to make sure that we are consistent in the program that we are delivering to our campers and that our campers are completing the advancement requirements to earn that advancement. We instituted this form last year. We've updated the verbiage a little bit for this year, so this is how the form works. You will need one slip for each merit badge that your scout is taking that has prerequisites. On that slip, it is up to you as a unit how you want to determine to do this. Either your unit leader needs to sign off on the slip verifying that the scout completed the prerequisite with a merit badge counselor, or the merit badge counselor can sign the slip stating that the scout completed the prerequisite with them. The asterisk is if the scout brings the physical prerequisite with them to camp, collections is the easiest way to explain it. If I'm taking coin collecting, a prerequisite is have a coin collection. Okay, so you can sign the slip verifying yes, they have a coin collection, or they can bring the coin collection with them to camp. I wouldn't recommend that, but they can. Okay, question?
Swim check. So like I'm not a swimming merit badge counselor, but a lot of like the water ones require passing your BSA swimmer's test. If I'm doing their swim check
You're the unit leader, and if you can sign off that they have completed their swim test and that was the prereq, then yes. It is up to you as to how you want to administer and sign those forms.
Doesn't have to be, somebody's taking cooking. I'm a cooking merit badge, but say she's not. Can she still sign off on that cooking merit?
She can sign off on the prerequisites stating that, yes, the scout has completed the cooking merit badge prerequisites under you as the cooking merit badge counselor. As a scoutmaster or assistant scoutmaster. A scout is trustworthy, okay? Let's not make this a bigger deal than it is. A scout is trustworthy. Either the merit badge counselor signs the slip stating, yes, they have completed the prerequisite, or a unit leader, a scoutmaster, assistant scoutmaster, signs the verification slip saying, yes, the scout did complete this under the supervision of a qualified merit badge counselor, okay?
Under where the schedules are, you can print out one, two, but it's not these slips. You want us to use these?
You'll need to use those slips, yes. The question was, there's a printout version available on there. That's going to print out the list of prerequisites. It's not going to print out a verification. So yeah, please use the slips. That's what we're going to use to be consistent across our camps. We want to make sure that our scouts are actually earning the merit badge. Many times, up to and including last year, we get to Thursday in the dining hall or Friday at the big camp meal, and, oh, Mr. Scoutmaster, I forgot I haven't turned in my prerequisites. I need a signature saying I did them. Here's a napkin off the table. Can you just sign this and say that I've completed it and I can turn that in? Okay? Well, you say no, but that was happening everywhere. Okay? So we have formalized the process to ensure that our campers are doing what they're supposed to do, and they are physically doing and earning that merit badge for advancement. Moving on to the adult forms. Again, adults will need the same thing, the BSA health form parts A, B, and C. That is regardless of how long they will be in camp. They need to have all parts A, B, and C. And again, that immunization exemption, if it's applicable. They will need proof of BSA membership with the unit they are attending camp with. That's a new requirement from the national office as of last year. So what that means is if you are registered with Troop 1, but you're attending camp with Troop 5, you're going to need to dual register, which doesn't cost anything, so that you are registered with Unit 5 in order to come to camp and serve as leadership with them. Okay? So again, proof of BSA membership with the unit you're attending camp with. That can either be a printout from Scout Book, or it can be a copy of your actual registration card. Yeah, as long as it's out of Scout Book so that it shows, then yes. Yep. The second thing you will need is proof of youth protection training completion. Again, that can be a printout out of Scout Book, just the roster with the expiration date, or it can be the printout of their youth protection training certificate from the youth protection training website.
If you do your roster, your proof of BSA membership, and your proof of YPT come on the same report.
Yes, they do.
One piece of paper.
Yes, they do. And then lastly, they need to make sure that they have that DHHS Central Registry Clearance Form, if they're over 21, that is dated for the calendar year of 2025. Finally, your unit forms. Again, in your packets and under that attachment heading is a Michigan Crossroads Council unit roster. That needs to be filled out typically the morning you leave, confirming who is coming to camp with you and what days they're going to be there, okay? That can be handwritten, or there is a form fill version online as well, okay? When you get to camp, we will collect that roster and we will compare it to your registration. The question we get is, well, why can't I just print off my registration? Because we have to verify, per the state of Michigan, that if you said someone was coming, which is what your registration says, and your roster says they're not there, we have to verify with the state of Michigan that we confirmed why that child did not arrive at camp. Okay? So the roster is a requirement because of the state of Michigan requirements. That has to be filled out separately from your registration, and then we match those up as part of your check-in when you get to camp. If you forget to do it, you'll be handed a blank one to fill out in the parking lot at camp. Okay? So again, please make sure you plan ahead. That's why we gave you the checklist, and that is filled out and with you when you arrive to camp. If you are an out-of-council unit, we will need a copy of your council's accident insurance. Simply call the council office. They can get that for you. Every council has to provide that to any unit that's going out of council, and so they're very familiar with that process. If you did a pre-camp swim check, you'll need to make sure you have that signed pre-camp swim check verification form. And then we strongly recommend that in your registration, you use the reports feature. There are 4 reports that are extremely helpful to you. We will not print them off for you at camp, which is why we want you to know about them now. The first is the Scouts Merit Badge Schedule. They signed up in March. They get to camp. They forgot what they were going to do. Here's your schedules. Now you know where you're going and what you're doing. Okay, that's the first one. The second one is called the Scout Summary Report, which is a consolidated version of the individual Scout schedules. So it shows you as a unit leader, this is my Scout, this is what they're taking, and this is the hour that they're taking it. There is the Class Summary, which just divvies this up a little bit differently. It shows all of the classes that your Scouts are taking, what Scouts are taking that class, and the period that they're taking that class. And then the final summary report is the period summary report. That's the one I like as a unit leader because it shows me from 9 to 10, this is where everyone is supposed to be and what they're supposed to be taking. Okay? Those are all available to you to download and print when you come to camp, or save on your phone, or whatever you'd like to do. They download as a PDF document. All of those are available to you. That is all of the paperwork that you will need and or should think about having with that last bullet point when you come to camp. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Greg to talk to you about 2026 summer camp. And I know you're going, Andrew, we're not even in 2025 summer camp yet. There are some incentives and some opportunities for you to take advantage of while you are physically at camp this year that you'll need to be prepared for. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Greg.
Thank you, Andrew. Stick that back in the pocket. All right, as Andrew said, we are never too early to start thinking about 2026. On our side, we are already beginning the planning process for summer camp 2026. Couple things to know right now. First, we are finalizing the sessions and dates and fees and all that stuff, hopefully very, very soon, and we will be announcing that on June 1st of this year. So in about a month from tomorrow, we'll have next year's session dates and everything announced. Once you guys get to camp, you will have an opportunity to register for 2026 before you leave. We really, really want you guys to, because we want you to come back, and getting that registration in early honestly makes our lives just insurmountably easier when it gets into the fall, because we have a better idea of who's actually coming to camp. To do that, you have a couple different options. If you want to return to the same camp, the same session, the same campsite, you want to see the business office of that camp Wednesday, the week that you're there. Same camp, same week, same session, same campsite, all that. Wednesday, you'll get priority to be first on the list for all that. Come Thursday, I'm going to let you guys take your pictures. Oh, actually, Thursday is still on this slide. Thursday is when we're going to open it up to the rest of the camp. So if you want to maybe move campsites, or you want to move to a different week or something like that, Thursday is the time to do that in the camp business office. All right. You want to get that done Wednesday or Thursday, because Friday it goes live for everybody. So Let's say you go to week 4 and you decide you'd rather go to week 3, Friday of week 3, get in there 8 a.m. and get your first shot at getting in there week 3. That make sense for everybody? Yeah? All right, cool. I see a couple heads nodding out there. All that's required to register at that time is one $200 deposit per troop. Doesn't matter if you're bringing 5 scouts or 20, one $200 deposit per troop. If you have 2 troops, that's 2 $200 deposits. Okay? All right. Additionally, we know some troops are going to want to go home and have a PLC or talk it over with scouts and things like that. We've still got some opportunities for y'all to get in on this early camp action. Still for a $200 deposit. Doesn't matter when you register, as long as it's before the first of the year, it's going to be that $200 deposit. But if you get in before December 1st, you're going to have some additional incentives to get that early registration. It's going to be at minimum 2 free leaders. That's what we know for certain right now. That is probably what it's going to be. 2 free leaders if you register before December 1st, but everything that's finalized will be announced on that June 1st date. After December 1st, as has been the case the last several years, no additional incentives. We still love you all to come to camp, whether you register in, December or June. We actually had somebody at a meeting this week that was not even registered yet. We're like, you got to get in there. But there will be no additional incentives after December 1st for Scouts BSA. So get in there, get in while you can. Like we said, June 1st is when all that will be announced, and it will be live as early as Wednesday of the week you're at camp. In addition to summer camp, I know this might come as a shock, but our camps are open year-round, and we do all sorts of fun things. So anything you can think of doing at summer camp is available on some degree of a year-round basis. We try to avoid swimming in December. All we have is outdoor lakes. But, hey, maybe it's warm. Who knows? Yeah, for the right amount of money, anything can be made possible. But if you can think about it, whether it's horses down at D-Bar A, or I guess up at D-Bar A from where we're at here, you want to go out on the river at Cole, you want to hit up one of the climbing towers or cope courses around the system. ATVs is becoming a popular year-round operation at Cole. This is all available to you and your scouts year-round. You just have to get in touch with the camp director and make sure you schedule it ahead of time. We want as much notice as possible for year-round programs, simply because we don't just have a mountain of staff hanging out waiting for you to get to camp every weekend. So if y'all want to do something, let us know, and we're going to do everything we can to get the staff in place to make sure that it's something we can do for you. See? There's a whole list. Arts and crafts, zip lining, horseback riding. Like I said, if you can think of it as something that we do in one of our camps, it's available to you year-round. Do we have anybody in the room that's not a Michigan Crossroads Council unit? We had one last night. So as MCC units, if you're not aware, you guys get free tent campsites in all of our camps year-round, provided they're available. There's certain blackout dates and things like that, but free tent camping for your troop in any of our camps whenever you'd like. We also have cabins available in all of our camps. Still a great value, but not free. So take advantage of these opportunities year-round. We love to have you guys in camp. Yes, sir. What's up, Blake?
One of the issues that the scout leaders run into is if we reserve something in, say, September or July, we get around to March, and we haven't been able to actually book that, so shooting or horses or climbing tower until February, March. I mean, at that point, if another event's been scheduled or something like that, we might not be able to do the program we're planning. We plan our days in, our camp outs in June, July, August, September. So, like, are we looking at all at being able to do a drop down of, hey, I'd like to do X, and actually planning it out in advance?
We are exploring that. Saving you the really, so we're actually piloting it right now at D-Bar A with the equestrian stuff. To save you the long explanation, we aren't we want to make sure that we are able to actually accommodate the program before we commit to it. But I would suggest if you get that on the camp director's radar early, like as early as possible, so reservations for next year are going to open up here tomorrow. So if you put your registrations in tomorrow, I would shoot an email to those camp directors to get it on their radar as early as possible.
I'm going to stand next
But
to you, too.
to your point, Blake, we are working on making that a reality. We're not quite there yet.
Yeah, the other mic is off. So the other thing that we're doing, for those of you that haven't seen or haven't heard, as everyone knows, for many, many, many years, we have opened cabin rentals on May 1st, and they go through, April 30th of the next year. Well, we know and realize that most of your units do program planning the way that Scouting America teaches you to do it, which is in August. So what you'll notice is when the cabin reservations turn on tomorrow, they are actually going to go through August 31st of next year, and on August 1st of next year, they will open through August 31st of 2027. So we have an extended calendar period this year to get onto the correct cycle that falls in line with your calendar planning, so that when you plan to go to camp in March, or in April, May, June, July, August, the previous August, you can actually go in and make that reservation. Yes, ma'am, that is correct. We do not need to call camp directors anymore. Cheryl?
In the check front system where you reserve your cabins, there is a spot to put notes where you can say, hey, we would really like to do X activity, and that puts it on the camp director's radar that the unit wants to do something and gives them a heads up.
Yeah, so for those of you that are joining us virtually, just so you can hear that, if you make a reservation online through our cabin rental system, there's a spot for notes. And in those notes, if you're interested in doing some sort of activity at camp, you can put it in at that time to help in starting that conversation when you make that reservation. So, Greg, sorry, I wanted to make sure everyone online could hear.
No, you're good. You gave me a chance to reset myself.
Thank you, Andrew. And I know I heard at least one comment on it. This year has been a little wonky with the shift in that whole reservation system that Andrew explained there. So thank you for the patience of everybody in the room on the having to call the camp directors for that couple-week period there. Oh, I will tell you from my desk, it was, and I wasn't even the one fielding the phone calls. So deeply appreciate everybody's patience who had to deal with that little oddity. Anything else on that before I move on? Great, we answered all the questions. So, in addition to our campsites and our cabins and our programs being available for you guys to rent as scouts, we also have an initiative right now that makes them available for non-scouts. Whether that is a non-scout group that is affiliated with you as a unit, be it a family reunion, a company picnic, or just a random collection of folks that want to go out and enjoy the outdoors for the week. We have those opportunities available throughout all of our camps, and in fact, we have a entire department within the council right now called Mitten Outdoor Adventures that is kind of heading up and streaming that process for us. You can find them at mittenoutdoors.org, or you can reach directly out to a camp director if you're interested in renting one of these facilities for a special event. So, examples of different groups that we've been working with: school groups, church groups. We've had a number of weddings, family reunions. We've even had one fraternal group that's joined us at one of our cabins for a week. So those opportunities are there, and we are really, really excited to share our camps with the world to help us sustain and grow in what we're doing. So if you have questions on that kind of stuff in particular, feel free to reach out to Marilyn at Mitten Outdoors website, or you can reach directly out to the camp directors if you're interested in a specific facility. With that, this is the designated question and answer period. I know we've been kind of throwing them out, but if there's anything that hasn't been addressed thus far on the general Q&A section. We're happy to hear them now. Not seeing anything. We're going to move towards our breakouts for the night. So, if you are here for Camp Rotary, you are going to head to the staff break room kitchenette thing, which is kind of right over there. If you're here for Cole Canoe Base, you're going to head across the hall to the Draper Room. Gerber Scout Reservation, you get to stay right here where you're at. And then last but not least, D-Bar A is actually going to be in the lobby, the front lobby of the office down that hall. So, oh, and Mr. Hiawatha, I'll catch you outside that door. I'm excited for Hiawatha.
If you would like hot dogs or extra food, please take them on your way out. You will be dismissing from your breakout area. If you have any administration questions that they cannot answer in your breakouts, Greg and I will be in this room to answer those after those are completed.
I'm going to give this to Marie. Okay.
Give me a few minutes. I'm gonna swap batteries out.
Okay.
I'm just going to tell her to get it to you when she's ready. Yeah.
When you were up at Cole last year, last summer, did you happen to leave a jacket?
I can't.
There's a lightweight, like a windbreaker type jacket. It's name brand, but right now I don't remember. It's been sitting there for the longest time. Nobody
up there.
at camp is,
When you're up there, take a picture of it, text it.
okay,
Text me and I'll let
all
you
right.
know.
'Cause it's like, I've talked to everybody except for you and Nate, and I think it's too big for me.
Right. Yeah.
But, it's like, it's just been sitting there. Okay, I will do that.
Thanks.
No, you don't. And Connie, if it causes you any problems, then I'll do it.
Okay, but if I don't.
Just text me.
This is my microphone.
Yeah. Yes. Problem is, you may not be on camera.
Oh, okay, that's fine with me.
Online people, they can't read the PowerPoint anyway.
Yeah, that's fine.
They want to hear people. So
So that's fine with me, Chris, 100%.
my battery died.
In fact, if I'm not on camera, I'm going to go sit over here. Can I do that?
Yeah.
You are. And we can, and that's a little bit more like so weird sitting up there. I just tell me when I'm even going to take my hat off because I don't have to be on camera. So hi, I'm Marie. I'm the camp director.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. What's the unit that you're with?
Troop 188,
188, okay.
G and B.
Right on.
I'm representing both.
Cool. And you're coming to us for the first time.
For the first time, I think, in our troop's history.
That's great. What brought you over there?
Well, they have been, I'm new to the troop as of like 3 years. But they always do like a 2-year cycle, like pick a camp for 2 years and then go to a different camp. So we did
Ah.
Camp Frontier,
Yeah, I see the sweatshirt. Yep.
and that was our second year, and all of our scouts wanted to stay there because it's a nice camp. But we encouraged them to pick somewhere different, and they used to only do Rotary. It was never D-Bar A, but Rotary, Camp Frontier. I don't know what the other one was, but anyways, Gerber was never on the list.
Ah,
And neither was Cole Canoe based. So I just looked into it and I brought it to the kids and they picked Gerber.
wonderful.
So
Well, great.
yeah, so we're excited.
When Chris is, you ready? Okay.
Are you
Do we have
recording
people online?
for Gerber?
Only one watching right now.
Okay, cool. Well, welcome. I'm glad you're here this evening. We're going to go through some things that weren't covered in the bulk of the first portion. A lot of that is administrative, and there was a lot that was presented. I will share with everyone that everything is on slides, and those slides are available in the initial webinar that we had, and then that'll be available at this one when it's posted. So you can go back for reference. Everything is also available on the website, and then in your registration, on the right-hand side, there's forms. Everything is in there too. If you guys ever run into any questions and you're like, we're just not sure what to do, please feel free to email me or text, phone call. Anything like that is super easy. So welcome. I'm Marie Beckvar. I'm the camp director for Gerber and the camp director for DBRA. We're going to be talking about Gerber this evening. So first thing we're going to talk about is check-in. That is everybody's first biggest question. So in the middle of May, you will get a SurveyMonkey invite to an appointment time for your check-in. And so that's going to go to whoever the contact is in your registration. It's first come, first serve, and the appointment times are 20-minute spreads starting at 1 o'clock. So as soon as you pop in there, you can pick your time. We will coordinate with you for your arrival from there.
Okay.
So when you do arrive at camp, you're going to drive in the main gate and park in the main parking area. You'll see an admin building, welcome signs. The theme this year is Jurassic Park, so you'll see the dinosaurs everywhere. And your whole unit is going to come out. We're going to do your check-in there, and we're going to do your health recheck there. Okay. And so my advice to everyone is to have all of your health forms set up alphabetical, all of your other forms also alphabetical in the same packet, and then that comes to check in with you. The state of Michigan does require us to speak to every person that is coming to our camp with their health form. And so it does take a little bit longer than in the past when you got a binder and you said, great, everybody's on the roster. Okay. So it does take a little bit extra time, but we have some really qualified medics that do the health recheck. If you have any scouts that are uncomfortable with having a conversation with a stranger, they just need a little extra time, just give us a heads up and we can always move to a different area that's a little bit more quiet. Past that, you will meet your troop guide there. Your troop guide will be assigned to you all week. And they're going to be your best friend at camp. And they'll have meals with you guys, and they'll show you around. They'll come and visit you for evening programs. And they're going to take you on a tour of the property. So the first stop is going to be your campsite. We do ask that you go into your campsite, drop your gear, and get ready for your swim checks. And then we go out on the tour. If you get stuck at your campsite too long setting up, then we run really super late for swim checks. So we'll start the tour, and the tour is not epic quest. We take you to the dining hall, so you know how to find that. We take you to the trail that goes to the range. We take you down to the waterfront, and then bring you back to your campsite. It is a large property, and so we've found in the past that the tour really helps scouts get acclimated to how they are moving across the property. Like I said, you're going to get ready for your swim test, so have all that stuff packed on the top of your gear, and then you're going to go down to aquatics. The swim test is super fast, and that's why we schedule appointments for arrival times so that we don't have a 3-hour wait for swim tests down at aquatics. And so they move everybody in as they arrive. They're communicating on walkie-talkies, and we know where everybody is moving around camp, and we just kind of rotate the groups in and out so that they're not a big line waiting for swim tests. While you're on your tour and you go to the dining hall steward and the kitchen staff will be there to greet you. If you have any concerns about the menu or you want to talk about dietary restrictions, any of the allergens, those are all the folks that are going to be helping. They'll walk everyone through on what meal service looks like and how to get to what and where, you know, give you the lowdown on the salad bars and what's happening for the breakfast bars. And it's kind of fun to get to meet them too because they're a really great group of people and they're hilarious. So they'll probably be singing and dancing when you arrive.
That's what we want.
Yeah, we love that. We love it. Checkout, you're going to make an appointment with your troop guide for checkout. And although we ask everyone to wait till after breakfast, if you have a longer drive, it is absolutely okay to check out before breakfast and get on the road. I recognize that we have folks who have a 5, 8-hour drive, and we try to get them out the door as fast as possible so they can get home safely. So that's the checkout process. Any questions about the checkout process?
Well, just arrival and checkout. So for
Yes.
a trailer, do we park it and you guys trailer it back? Or we
Oh,
trailer
thank you.
it
That's a
back?
great question. Yeah, I've got a little further down here, but we'll talk about it now. You are absolutely okay to leave your truck and trailer in your campsite.
Okay.
The campsites all have a turnaround in it, so it's super easy pull through. And as long as your truck and trailer can be locked, we're okay with you leaving that there. Vehicles are not allowed to go back to your campsite outside of your truck and trailer. We can help get some things back there, but most everyone can get everything into their trailer and get it back there, for sure.
What if the truck wants to leave? Is that okay?
That is okay,
I
yes.
think we have the truck
Yep, yep,
bringing our trailer and okay.
yep, that's totally fine. Yep, as long as your trailer can be secured and locked, we're totally good with that. The other part of that too is we have a lot of folks who bring bikes to camp. And it's a big property, so bikes are absolutely welcome. Do remember you need your helmet. And we always wear closed-toe shoes at camp, but I never hesitate to remind people that they need to have closed-toed shoes on their bikes too.
Isn't it sand? It's been a
It
long
is,
time.
it is
I brought
very sandy, yes.
So is it hard to ride a bike?
There are some spots that are hard to ride a bike, yes, but for the most part, the roads are very solid.
Okay.
And we actually have the National Guard in the next 2 weeks redoing a lot of our roads for us.
Nice.
So it'll be even better. And there are some spots where we don't want the bikes. When there's single width trails,
Okay.
we don't want the bikes on there. So we encourage the bikes to stay on the roads, which are very circular through the property.
Okay.
So that it's easy to get to spots. Next up on the list, if we're good with questions for check-in and check-out, I want to talk a little bit about the specialty weeks. So week 1 and 2, we have Discovery Scuba. It's an evening program. It's an extra $200 for the week well, it's not a week session, but it's an evening program. The scuba company that is doing it for us is amazing. They're out of Grand Rapids. They're very experienced, and Discovery Scuba is a great way for folks to try the scuba gear out. It's in a pool, so you put all the gear on and you're able to sink to the bottom, and you really get to know if scuba is going to be your jam or if you're just not going to, like, it's not your thing. And so it's an approachable way to do that. The sign up is going to go out on May 23rd. There are 16 spots, and it's going to go out to the contact person in the registration. And so please let those folks know that when they see that email come in, that the first 16 people, I will take their reservation for that. The payment for that will be at check-in when you arrive at camp. And we can run it through your registration system, so you can pay with your troop card. But if you have parents who just want to send a check, that's okay too.
Okay.
We can accept that at check-in.
Does that have an age limit too?
14 years old to however old you want your oldest Scoutmaster to be. So it is open first to youth. If we don't fill up right away, then I'll open it up to adults.
Okay.
So that's week 1 and 2 for Discovery Scuba. Week 3 has the open water PADI certification course and the Scuba Merit Badge. So there are still 2 spots available for that during week 3. If you do have a youth that's interested, please let me know, because I'm going to open it up to adults on the 23rd of May. Any questions about scuba? Okay. Next one on our list is evening program. There's quite a menu of evening program in the leader guide. Some of the things that I want to encourage folks to look at is the tie-dye. If you have youth that are really super interested in tie-dye, they are able to bring t-shirts, socks, everything but underwear. And you say, ha, she has to say that out loud.
No,
It's because we've had underwear come to be tie-dyed, and it's just something I find I need to say out loud as a camp director. So, everything but your underclothes is appropriate. That's an evening program. There are a couple other ones in there that folks are really, really excited about. One is the Water Carnival, and that is a camp-wide evening program. If you do have a Scoutmaster who is interested in doing Cannonball, that is a great way for the Scoutmasters to engage. We encourage them to dress up, we encourage them to have songs, to really get the troops involved, and they compete for a prize. It does not have to be a Scoutmaster, it can be one of your adult leaders. Please do not use peer pressure. they must cannonball willingly. So those are a couple of fun.
Cannonball into the lake?
Cannonball into the lake, yes. In a costume, yes. Yes, it is a blast. Some other evening programs that are really popular is we do have a Sasquatch on the property, so we go Sasquatch hunting. There's astronomy night, night hike, and then of course underwater hike, which is a snorkel, an early morning snorkel event.
Okay, we were wondering what that was.
Yes.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, so there's lots of evening programs in there. If you're talking to your scouts and there's absolutely something that they just want to do, let me know, because we always love to incorporate fun stuff that they think of. We talked about bikes already. I do have some guidance on scheduling. Since it is such a large property, I strongly encourage scout leaders and parents to work with their youth to make sure that they're really looking at the map and scheduling themselves in a way that they're not having to move across the property in back and forth. So for instance, the aquatics area is about 6 minutes away from the rifle range, and the rifle range is about 6 minutes away from the climbing tower. So if you are in handicraft, you don't want to go to the rifle range, back to handicraft, back to the climbing tower, back to handicraft, back to aquatics, back to handicraft. So just help your youth take a look at that. And if there's some things that they want to move around, let me know if I can help. I'm happy to get in there and help them with their schedules to be a little bit more timely in their transitions to be able to get to where they need to go on time.
So you said aquatics is 6 minutes
From the ranges, and 6 minutes from the climbing tower. Makes a nice little triangle in there. If you are looking at the map, you'll notice that the admin health office is the center of camp. And so the programs that are around there are Eagle Quest, there are merit badges in the Damon Lodge right across the street, there's merit badges in the Handicraft Center, and so there's a lot of activities in that part of camp. And if you're looking at your schedule, I would encourage you to start in that area and then spiderweb out with the different activities that they can be doing. I also do want to talk about our adult leader program. It's called Gerber University, and it is a robust and fun activity that takes a week to complete. It is in the leader guide. Adults are able to go back in and earn their bachelor's degree, they can earn their master's degree, they can earn their doctorate, and it's really fun. It keeps them active and engaged all week long. You can earn your IOLS as part of this. There's pieces of the aquatics supervision that they can earn. There's lots of different avenues to get them into program areas and doing activities around camp. One of the most popular is called Dishmaster 2000, and that is a couple of stints in the kitchen with our amazing kitchen staff doing dishes, which everyone loves.
Jeff will be there.
Yes, everyone loves to do dishes. You get a cool sticker. Yeah, Yeah, and so another piece of that is we do encourage the adults to come in and help serve on our serving line. And so that's also part of the Gerber University. And they're basically going into program areas and doing activities that they earn points for throughout the week. And it gets them all over the property and gets them engaging with all different kinds of scouts. And it's really super fun. So if you do have adults that want to participate in that, it is in the leader guide and they can see what they're in for. That is all I have on my extra list. Is there any questions from the group?
I have two things. Late arrivals, we just come to the health lodge, because I know two
Yes.
of my scouts are gonna be, either early Monday morning or late Sunday.
Yes, so
Okay.
question is late arrivals. Yes, communicate with that information over email with me when you get like a little bit closer on a time, and we'll make sure that we check them in. You are able to bring their paperwork with you at your check-in time, and then we'll pull it out and we'll do the health check when they arrive. Same thing if anyone has adults that are coming in at different times during the week, bring their paperwork in the initial check-in, and then we'll bring their health forms out and do the check when they leave.
Oh, okay. I asked this, I think, when, whatever the other meeting is, we do have a scout that's going to need a golf cart to get to pretty much everything. And at the time you said that's fine, but do you guys have a place you rent them from, or you don't have any?
We do not have any on site. There is a rental company in Muskegon that rents golf carts. I've used them many times in the past. And all we ask is that you bring in your insurance and you are able to have the golf cart on the property.
Okay, the scout insurance, or?
Whatever insurance is covering your golf cart.
Oh, okay. We'll find that out. Okay. How do they get the golf cart there? We have,
They deliver. Yeah, or if you have someone with a 5x8 trailer, they can also bring in. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I think that's it for me.
Okay, excellent. Any questions online?
Two questions online.
Okay.
The first one is, could you further explain health recheck?
Yes, so the state of Michigan requires us to go through the health forms with the person that the health form is about. So it's a one-on-one conversation. We ask a specific set of questions and look through their health forms. If there's any information they want to share with us, we take it in at that time. And then we go through everyone in your troop in that process, adults included.
And the second question is, what will the expectations be on a troop regarding the new AOL camps? What is the agenda for the AOLs when they show up in the middle of the week? Will
So-
they mix in directly with troops?
So at Gerber, we're lucky enough to have a pretty defined subcamp for the Aerolites. So they will be integrated into the program, but they won't be doing program at the same time in the same spot as our Scouts BSA program. So they'll be eating different meals with us during the week. They'll be involved in our closing campfire. They will be on the trails, so we'll be interacting with them in Scouts BSA program. We recognized last year that including them directly in all of the program, the Scouts BSA youth were not super excited about that. They were very kind, but their feedback was that they came to camp to be Scouts. They didn't come to camp to be with little kids. And so looking at the schedule, looking at how the property moves, I was very intentional about how I scheduled them in. So they will be using the climbing tower, but it'll be at a different time than Scouts BSA. They will be using some of the programs down in Scouts Aquatics, but it's at different times than the Scouts BSA program. So they're with us, but they are doing their individual program. And I hope that we can encourage our older Scouts to engage with them and really get them excited about being, moving up in the scouting program and continuing on.
So the troops really won't have, expectations from a leadership standpoint.
They will not. They will not. The Arrow Lights have their own leaders coming. They have their own campsite. I do have a couple of units who are bringing their Arrow Lights that they are going to cross over. They've asked to camp with them. So if you do have crossover scouts that are right on the edge of joining your troop, then that's totally okay as Arrow Lights for them to camp with you. But I need that to be up to the scoutmaster. I'm not going to put them in your campsite and tell you about it later. Yeah.
Okay, that's all the questions online.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming in. And if you do have any other questions, folks, if you have any other questions online, please feel free to email, call, text, and I will help you through them.
Thank you.
You are welcome.